ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। Here in this shloka, Shri should be with Shankaracharya. Shri is not a separate word. Shri Shankaracharya. Shri Shankara Bhagavad Pada. Shri. There should not, it's not a Vestapadam. It is along with Shri Shankaracharya. Shriya Yuktaha. Iti, in that meaning. Or Shriman. Shrimata. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिं पुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपार करुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम् यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम् साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सूत्रार्थो वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्यैः सूत्राणुकारिभिः
वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्यैः सूत्रानुकारिभिः
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः
ओमाप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
ओमाप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथोबलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
निराकुर्याम्
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्
मां ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
निराकरोत्
निराकरोत्
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे
मे
अस्तु
अस्तु
तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
तदात्मनिरतेय
उपनिषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते
धर्मास्ते
मयि
मयि
सन्तु ते
सन्तो
मयि
ते
सन्तु
मयि सन्तो
ॐ शान्तः शान्तः शान्तिः
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्ति
शान्ति शान्तिः
शान्तिः
अविज्ञातुं विजानताम् इति अवधृतम्
अविज्ञातं
अविज्ञातं
विजानताम् इति
विजानताम् इति
अवधृतम्
अवधृतम्
यदि ब्रह्म अत्यन्तमेव अविज्ञातम्
यदि
यदि
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
अत्यन्तमेव
अत्यन्तमेव
अविज्ञातम्
अविज्ञातम्
लौकिकानां ब्रह्मविदां च अविशेषः प्राप्तः
लौकिकानां
लौकिकानां
ब्रह्मविदां च
ब्रह्मविदां च
अविशेषः
अविशेषः
प्राप्तः
प्राप्तः
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति च परस्परविरुद्धम्
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति च
अविज्ञातं
परस्परविरुद्धम्
परस्परविरुद्धम्
कथं तु तद्ब्रह्म सम्यक् विदितं भवति इति एवम् अर्थम् आह
कथं तु
तु तद्ब्रह्म
तद्ब्रह्म
सम्यक्
सम्यक्
विदितं भवति
भवति
इति एवम् अर्थम् आह
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम् अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
प्रतिबोधविदितं
प्रतिबोधितं
मतम्
मथम्
अमृतत्वं हि
अमृतत्वं हि
विद्यते
विन्दते
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्
आत्मना
आत्मना
विन्दते
विन्दते
वीर्यं
वीर्यं
विद्यया विन्दते
विद्यते
मृतम्
मृतम्
If you write tika to the bhashyam and the mantra, then we have to write spashtam, because we have seen this in other so many times. By reading the sentences, we can understand the meaning. So we don't have to look into it again. Brahma yadi atyantam ajnatam bhavati avijnatam bhavati tarhi lokikana ajnanina brahmavedam jnanina madhye कोऽपि विशेषः न प्राप्तः भेदः न प्राप्तः अतः there is one problem. Second dosha is अविज्ञातं विजानातं इति परस्पर विरुद्धम् अस्ति. परस्पर पदानां विरुद्धम्. अविज्ञातं कथं विजानातां भवति. अविज्ञातं is अविजानातां should be. अविज्ञातं विजानातां, that is परस्पर विरुद्धम्. That is resolved by this mantra. Katam tad brahma samyak viditam bhavati, that is well known. That is said in this mantra. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. Atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate mritam. Bodham bodham prati brahma viditam bhavati. Bodham bodham prati viditam bhavati brahma. Brahma jnanena amritatvam labhate vindate prapyate. Atmana सम्यक् आहितेन चेतसा अंतःकरणेन वीर्यं लभते. ज्ञानप्राप्तये ज्ञानेन विद्यया अमृतं विन्दते इति श्लोकार्थः. स्पष्टमेव. प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम्.
प्रतिबोधविदितं मदम्
स्पष्टं वा न स्पष्टम्? स्पष्टमेव. बोधं बोधं प्रतिविदितम्.
बोधं प्रतिविदितम्
बोधशब्देन बौद्धाः प्रत्ययाः उच्यन्ते.
बोधशब्देन
बोधाः
प्रत्ययाः
प्रत्ययाः
उच्यन्ते
सर्वे प्रत्ययाः विषयी भवन्ति यस्य सः आत्मा सर्वबोधान् प्रति उद्यते.
सर्वे
सर्वे
प्रत्ययाः
प्रत्ययाः
विषयी
विषयी भवन्ति यस्य
आत्मा
सः आत्मा
सर्वबोधान्
सर्वबोधान् प्रति उच्यते
आत्मा बुध्यते कर्मणि प्रयोग. सर्वे प्रत्ययाः विषयी भवन्ति. They become objectified for whom? सः आत्मा अतः आत्मा बुध्यते सर्वबोधान् प्रति बुध्यते प्रति अव्ययम् तथा सर्वबोधान् द्वितीया विभक्ति उपपदा विभक्ति सर्वबोधान् प्रति आत्मा बुध्यते with reference to all cognitions atma is buddhyate viditam bhavati jnatam bhavati ityartah then sarva pratyaydarshi chichakti swarupa matraha
सर्वप्रत्ययदर्शी
शक्ति स्वरूपमात्रः
प्रत्ययैः एव प्रत्ययेषु अविशिष्टतया लक्ष्यते
प्रत्ययैः प्रत्ययेषु अवशिष्टतया लक्ष्यते
प्रत्ययेषु okay प्रत्ययेषु अवशिष्टतया I don't know what I read अविशिष्टतया अवशिष्टतया विशिष्ट yeah अवशिष्टतया not अविशिष्टतया अवशिष्ट विशिष्ट अवशिष्ट अवशिष्टतया सर्वप्रत्ययदर्शी
अवविशिष्टतया isn't it?
अवविशिष्टतया yes अवविशिष्टतया yes
Here avi is there. Avi is
अव
there.
what did you say again
Pratyayeshu ava visishtataya.
अवविशिष्टतया yes विशिष्टतया
Okay.
yes अवपूर्वक विशिष्ट अवविपूर्वक शिष्धातु प्रत्यय अवविशिष्ट अवविशिष्टता तस्य भावः अवविशिष्टता तया अवविशिष्टतया okay
Okay.
I don't know what I read if I read wrongly please correct it now the two words sarva pratyaydarshi chichakti swarupa matraha these are words describing the Brahma Chaitanya सर्वेषां प्रत्ययानां दर्शनम the one who sees darshi drashtam sheelam yesham te sarvapratyaydarshi and that is in the form of chaitanyam that is the swarupa of the brahma atma that pratyayhi eva only through pratyayas pratyayhi eva so pratyaya becomes the means pratyayhi eva so karana प्रत्ययहि एव प्रत्ययेषु among the pratyayas pratyayhi eva avavishishtataya lakshate it is indicated it is avavishishtataya lakshate
Kshamyatanji. Pratyayeshu
avavishishtataya
shu plus a
what don't okay
ava won't come, no?
pratyayeshu avi
pratyayeshu yeah it's okay,
will
very
not
good we have
come.
problem
Ava
with the
is
ends and the
not
basic ends and the
yansandi
okay pratyayeshu avishishtataya that's correct only
Correct.
oh I think
Yes.
I read the beginning correctly only not avishishtataya yeah sorry avishishtataya okay this vava is that one more va we are adding maybe okay pratyayeshu avishishtataya in fact that is correct because avishishta is that which is not changing that is general vishishta is specific particular changing variable invariable that is the translation in that I gave okay sorry it is avishishtataya okay pratyayeshu avishishtataya I think that's what I read before also that's correct only okay I didn't yeah I didn't see that again properly okay so when you ask second time then I get doubt again avishishtataya okay then avishishtataya is very clear na vishishta avishishta tasya bhavah avishishtatah taya avishishtataya invariable that is the meaning in fact avishishta will not give that meaning so it is not ava if it is avishishtataya then one more va will come pratyayesh vavishishtataya it would be right so avishishtataya only yes
yes earlier also you have given the same name that does not vary in
that
the
doesn't vary so vishishta
avishtataya
na vishishta that is the meaning okay vishishta is that which is
Vary.
particular, which is Vishishta, which is specific, variable, that is the meaning we have to take here. That which doesn't vary, avishishtata. So, avisishtataya lakshyate. In the form of non-varying tritiya. In the form of non-varying chaitanyam among by the pratyayas, pratyayeshu lakshyate. It is indicated. It is known. Okay. So, Ittambhute tritiya avishishtataya. Fine. Okay, it is avishishtataya confirmed. There's no doubt about that. Na anyat dvaram atmanaha vijnanaya.
न अन्यत्
अन्यते
द्वारमात्मनः
द्वारमात्मनः
विज्ञानाय
Anyat dvaram anyat sadhanam nasti atmajnanaya. Atmajnanaya. Sampradane chaturthi. All this you can do analysis later. Vijnanaya, for knowing Atma, there is no other means. Ataha pratyahatmataya vritam brahma yadha.
अतः
अतः
प्रत्यय
प्रत्ययात्मतया विहितं ब्रह्म
यदा
तदा
Yada tada tat matam tat samyak darshanam ityartah.
तदा
तदा
तत्
तत्
मतं
मतं
तत्
तत्
सम्यक्
सम्यक् दर्शनम्
सम्यक् दर्शनम् इत्यर्थः
Pratyanam pratyekhatma. Pratyakcha also atma, pratyekhatma, pratyanam, not pratyeshu. Pratyanam pratyekhatma, that is better. Pratyanam pratyekhatma, tasya bhavah pratyekhatma, pratyekhatmata, taya pratyekatmataya, vritam brahma bhavati. So it is the pratyekhatma of the pratyaya. Pratyekatmataya, vritam bhavati. So it is vritam bhavati. It is pratyayeshu or pratyayanam pratyahatmataya in the form of pratyahatma brahma vritam bhavati. Here also you can take. It is pratyahatmataya vritam bhavati. Either we can take ittam bhute tritiya or we can take prakrityadibhyah upasankhyanam. Okay. Yada vritam bhavati tat samyak darshanam bhavati. Ittam bhute tritiya is better. Okay. Not prakrityadibhyah upasankhyanam. Okay. Sarva pratyaydarshitve cha
सर्वप्रत्ययदर्शित्वे च
उपजनन अपाय वर्जित दृक्स्वरूपथा
उपजनन
उपजननौ
अपायवर्जित
वर्जित
दृक्स्वरूपता
दृक्स्वरूपतः
नित्यत्वं विशुद्ध स्वरूपत्वं आत्मत्वं निर्विशेषता
नित्यत्वं विशुद्धस्वरूपत्वम्
नित्यस्वरूपत्वम् आत्मत्वं
आत्मत्वं
निर्विशेषता
निर्विशेषता
एकत्वं च सर्वभूतेषु सिद्धं भवेत्
एकत्वं च
एकत्वं च
सर्वभूतेषु
सर्वभूतेषु
सिद्धं
सिद्धं
भवेत्
भवेत्
सर्वप्रत्ययदर्शित्वे सति. It is the status of being the seer of all the pratyayas. Therefore, tasya janana apaya nasti, therefore varjita. Janana apayena varjitaha. And it is in the form of the swarupa of the drik, the seer, who cannot be seen. Therefore, nityatvam, vishuddha swarupatvam, atmatvam, ekatvam cha sarvabhuteshu siddham eva. It is siddham bhavati. Sarvabhuteshu ekam. It doesn't have vishesha, nirvisheshata, nirgunam brahma, atmatvam in the form of being. Then vishuddha swarupatvam, it is always pure, always nityatvam, always there, not subject to time, and of the nature of the seer. That is siddham bhavet. When it has a status of being the seer of all the pratyayas. This is siddham bhavet. Lakshana Veda Abhavat Vyomnaha iva Gatagiri Guhadishu.
लक्षणभेद अभावात् व्योम्नः इव घटगिरिगुहादिषु.
The sentence should be read along with the previous one. The hetu is given here with a drishtanta. Because of the absence of the difference in its lakshana, it doesn't vary, same. Avishishtata, Avishishtam Brahma, therefore, like the space which is not subject to division, not subject to change by the walls of the upadhi, like Gata, Giri, etc. Then Vidita Viditabhyam Anyat Brahma iti Agama Vakyartaha.
विदित अविदिताभ्याम् ब्रह्म इति आगमवाक्यार्थः.
एवं परिशुद्धः एव उपसंहृतः भवति.
एवं परिशुद्धः एव उपसंहृतः भवति.
You are familiar with the text. Or a line, just a line. Vidita Viditabhyam Brahma iti Avagama Vakyartaha. Therefore, evam Parishuddhaha Upasamritaha Bhavati. It is Parishuddhaha, it's well clarified and it is concluded. Drishtege Drashta Shutehe Shrota Matehe Manta Vijnatehe Vijnata iti Shrutyantaram.
दृष्टेः द्रष्टा श्रुतेः श्रोता मतेः मन्ता विज्ञातेः विज्ञाता इति हि श्रुत्यन्तरम्.
I was thinking about this Pratyahatmataya, that I think Prakrityadibhya Upasankyanam is better, okay, not Itam Bhute. So it's Itam Bhute, there must be an indicator, like Jatabhigi Tapasaha. Anyway, we'll discuss that in the Karaka section. Just it is Prakrityadibhya Upasankyanam. So it is goes along with the Kriya Padam. Pratyahatmataya, Pratyahatmataya Viditam Bhavati Brahma. So that is Prakrityadibhya Upasankyanam. We have some examples in that you can see later. Fine. Now the Ekashesha or the view of Bhartr Prapancha is given, and Bhartr Prapanchasya Bhartr Prapancha Mata Doshanam. This we have seen. Before we say, just give the gist. Bodha Kriya Karta is indicated by Bodha Kriya Lakshana. Bodha Kriya Lakshanaya Bodha Kriya Karta Lakshyate. Yata Vrikshashakaha Chalayati Saha Chalanakarta Vayugu. Therefore, Vayu is Chalanakarta, that is by the movement of the branches of the tree. The Chalanakarta Yatha Vayu is inferred Tadvat Bodhakriya Lakshanaya Bodhakriya Karta Brahma Atma is Viditam Bhavati, and that Bodha Lakshanam alone is referred to by the word, by the phrase Pratibodha Viditam. This is how Yakyadayate, this is how interpreted according to Ekadeshi or Bhartr Prapancha, their view. Therefore, Atma is Bodha Kriya Shaktiman, endowed with the Shakti. Yata Vayu is endowed with the Shakti. It has a power, therefore it moves, it just shakes the branches of the tree. Similarly, Shakti is there for the Atma. What Shakti? Bodha Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shaktiman. It is endowed with the power to know, the power of the action of knowing. Knowing is also an action, Kriya. That Shakti is endowed with, therefore, and that because endowed with, therefore, don't think it is Chaitanyam, don't think it is Chita, it is Dravyam eva, na Bodha Swarupaha. It is not Bodha Swarupa, it is just a substance. Dravyam. Then Bodha Jayate Bodha Vinashyati. This we say. See, Bodha Jayate, when Bodha Jayate, Bodha is born, and Bodha Nashyati. Bodha Jayate, Bodha Nashyati. Bodha is knowledge is born and knowledge is destroyed. Yada Bodha Jayate, when knowledge is born, then by the Bodha Kriya, it becomes Savishesha. It becomes Savishesha. Atma is endowed with the quality of knowing. Visheshena Sahavartate Savishesha. Bodha Kriyaya Savishesha. It is endowed with the quality of knowing. Yada bodha nashyati, then nashta bodha it is. Atma is nashta bodha. Nashtaha bodha yasmat saha. That is Atma. Gauri. Atma becomes nashta bodha. Therefore, it is dravyameva nirvishesham. So, up to this is the view of the Ekadeshi. When Bodha is there, when Bodha is born, when Atma is Bodha Kriya, by Bodha Kriya, it is Savishesha, it is endowed with the Vishesha, the attribute of knowing. When Bodha Kriya is not there, like in Sushupti Avastha, etc., then Atma is Nashta Bodha, it is only Dabhya Matram, it is Nirvishesha. If that is so, then Atma is Savishesha, the Dravya Atma is Savishesha at one time. At one time means when Bodha Jayate, Tada Atma Bodha Kriyaya Savishesha Bhavati. Yada Bodha Nashyati Bhavati Yata Sushupti Avasthayam. Tada Atma Nirvishesha Bhavati. So Atma is Savishesha sometimes and sometimes Nirvishesha. It means Atma is subject to change. Vikriyatmakaha Atma. Vikriyatmakaha. Vikriya Swarupaha Atma. Atma is subject to change. That is so. What will undergo change? That which has avayava alone will undergo change. If it has avayava, then it cannot be nitya, anityaha. If it is anitya, then it cannot be shuddhaha. That's because it has parts. Parts are subject to disintegration. Because they are put together, therefore they are subject to disintegration. Therefore they cannot be shuddhaha, purnaha. All these doshas you cannot avoid. Therefore your conclusion is wrong. Bhashyakara dismisses that. Bhashyakara with the Shruti, he says, because Shruti says Atma is Niravaya, it is Nityaha, Shuddhaha, Buddhaha, Mukta Swabhavaha iti. Therefore, these doshas will creep in. You cannot avoid this dosha if you say Atma is Vikriyatmakaha. Because according to Atma is Vikriyatmakaha. Because Bodha Kriyaya Atma Savishesha Bhavati, Kadachit Nirvishesha Bhavati. But another, we can give a very stronger argument. Bhashyakara doesn't say that here. That is, if it is Nirvishesha, if Atma is Nirvishesha, Nirvishesha means there is no Vishesha. Nirvishesha. Nirvishesha cannot become Savishesha. If it becomes Savishesha, then it is not Nirvishesha. That which has attributes alone can take attributes. That which doesn't have attributes cannot take attributes. Like a Griha, a house is there. We can add one more room because there are so many rooms are there. Parts, avayava. We can add one more avaya, one more room possible. You cannot add to the Akasha space which is without any parts, without any attributes. You cannot add one more attribute to the Akasha. So, to the car you can add one more gadget, but because it is already Savishesha. Savishesha can become Savishesha. You can add. That which has parts can accommodate more parts. That which is without parts, how can it take parts? How can it become Savishesha? Not possible. If it is nirvishesha, then it cannot be savishesha. If it's savishesha, it cannot become nirvishesha. That dosha is there. But Vashikara doesn't say that. Just dismisses by saying, if according to you, Atma is subject to change, then it contradicts Shruti. Therefore, the doshas, those doshas which will crop up by making Atma is subject to change, that is unavoidable. If Atma is subject to change, then doshas are unavoidable. That is the meaning which we saw. Anyway, let's read these sentences quickly. Yada punaha bodhakriya karta iti bodhakriya lakshanena
यदा पुनः बोधक्रियाकर्ता इति बोधक्रियालक्षणेन
tatkartaram vijanati iti
तत्कर्तारं विजानाति इति
bodhalakšanena viditam pratibodhaviditam iti vyakyayate.
बोधलक्षणेन विदितं प्रतिबोधविदितमिति व्याख्यायते
यथा यः वृक्षशाखाः चालयति सः वायुः इति तद्वत्
यथा यः वृक्षशाखाश्चालयति सः वायुरिति तद्वत्
तदा बोधक्रिया शक्तिमान् आत्मा द्रव्यं न स्वरूपः एव
तदा बोधक्रियाशक्तिमान् आत्मा द्रव्यं न बोधस्वरूप एव
बोधस्तु जायते विनश्यति च
बोधस्तु जायते विनश्यति च
यदा बोधः जायते तदा बोधक्रियया सविशेषः
यदा
यदा
बोधः
बोधः जायते तदा बोधक्रियया सविशेषः
यदा बोधः नश्यति तदा नष्टबोधः द्रव्यमात्रं निर्विशेषः
यदा
यदा
बोधः
बोधः
नश्यति
नश्यति
तदा
तदा नष्टबोधः द्रव्यमात्रं निर्विशेषः
निर्विशेषः
सविशेष निर्विशेषः कः आत्मा यू हैव टू सप्लाई यदा आत्मनि बोधः जायते तदा आत्मा बोधक्रियया सविशेषः भवति यदा बोधः नश्यति भवति तदा आत्मा नष्टबोधः भवति द्रव्यमात्रमेव निर्विशेषः. If that is so, tatraivam sati
तत्रैवं सति
सति
विक्रियात्मकः
विक्रियात्मकः
आत्मा विक्रियात्मकः भवति तर्हि सावयवः
सावयवः
अनित्यः अशुद्धः
अनित्यः
नित्यः शुद्धः
इत्यादयः दोषाः न परिहर्तुं शक्यन्ते.
इत्यादयः
इत्यादयः दोषाः न परिहर्तुं शक्यन्ते.
सो एकदेश मत दूषणं कृतं नौ मतखण्डनं that is Kanada is Vaisheshika, which we saw in the last class. I think we read up to the which line? First line only I think we read. Okay. Yadapi Kanadānām
यद्यपि कानादानाम्
Atma Manas Sanyogajah Bodhah
आत्ममनस्संयोगजः
Atmani Samavaiti
आत्मनि समवैति
Atah Atmani Bodhrutvam
अतः
आत्मनि बोधत्वं
Natu Vikriyatmakah Atma
न तु
न तु विक्रियात्मकः आत्मा
Dravyamatrastu Bhavati
द्रव्यमात्रस्तु भवति
Gataiva Samavayi.
घटैव रागसमवायी
Kanada Mata. So Vaisheshika Mata. The last class we saw about Padartha, Dravyas, etc. Some introduction I gave to the Astika Mata, one of the Astika Mata, Kanada Mata. According to them, Atma Mana Sanyogajaha, Samyogat Jayate Sanyogajaha. What? Bodhaha. It's very clear, one line here, Vashikara, one word is given. What is their view? Kanada Mata. According to them, Bodhaha Jayate by the Sanyoga, by the contact of the Atma and the mind. Atma manas sanyogat jayate atma manas sanyogajah bodha. So knowledge is therefore it is it is not chit swarupaha. Knowledge is born. When it is born, bodha jayate. So bodha jayate, bodha vinashyati, the like the Ekadeshi. But the problem of Ekadeshi is not here. Iti, they say. Therefore, we are free from the defects what you pointed out in the Ekadesha Mata. In the Ekadesha Mata, what is the defect? Atma is Vikriyatmakaha. That dosha is not there, he says. How he says Atmani Samaviti, Atmana Sanyogajaha Bodha, therefore Atmani Samaviti, what Bodha? Therefore Bodha remains in the Atma, Atmani Samaviti. Atmani Samaviti. Ataha Atmani Bodhrutvam. Atmani Bodhrutvam Natu Vikriyatmaka Atma. Atma Dravyamatrastu Bhavati. According to them also, according to Kanada Mata also, Atma is Dravya. It is one of the Padartha. Atma as well as mind both are Dravyam alone, both are substance. But only thing is, he says that the defect what you pointed out in the Ekadesha Mata, that is not here. That is not with us, he says. What is the defect? The defect is Atma is Vikriyatmakaha in Ekadesha Mata. Atma undergoes changes, modification. Atma which has Jnanam, which has Bodha, the Bodha which arises in Atma, that Atma undergoes changes. That is not there. For us, according to us also, Atma is Dravyaha eva. It is a substance. Atma Dravyamatrastu bhavati. But natu Vikriyatmakaha. Ekadesha matavat. Like Ekadesha mata, for us, according to us, Atma is not subject to change. But Atma is Dravyameva. Atmani bodhrutvam. The bodhrutvam. Bodhrutvam is there for the Atma. Atmani bodhrutvam. There is no worship. Status of being the bodhr. Bodha, bodharo, bodhr. Buddha plus trish. Bodhr. Bodhrutvam. The status of being the knowership is in the Atma. But Atma is not Chit. It is Dravya. But it is not Vikriyatmakaha, as Ekadesha Mata says. Therefore, the dosha what you pointed in the Mata is not with us, so we are better. So our conclusion is correct, he says. Now, before we read, we need to understand further that Atma is Dravyam according to Visheshika. Not only Atma as well as Manas. Both are Dravyam, both are substance. Therefore, when these two substances, when come in contact, then there arises a quality, a guna, that is jnanam, knowledge. So knowledge is a quality which is born in Atma. Therefore, Atma gets a status of being a bodha, bodhrutvam, atmani jayate, without undergoing any change. Atma without any undergoing change, Atma becomes the bodha. This quality is born because of the association. Because of the association between Atma and the Manas, this quality that Jnanam, which is a quality that Guna is born in Atma. Like what? Like Gata Iva Raga Samavai. You may ask, will not Atma undergo change? No. Gata Iva Raga Samavai. A Gata is a pot. No, Raga, you can color it. You can color the pot, white, blue, red, whatever color. Because the Gata is colored now. Does the Swarupa of the Gata change? Gata is Gata only. The nature of Gata is Gata. Gata doesn't change. Gata remains a God. Gata only. Only it is painted. Red, blue, etc. Similarly, Atma doesn't undergo any change. As the Gata gets the Vishesha, the quality, the paint, Raga is paint. Raga, the paint, and Gata, they have, they are the paint, they both are substance. That is also Gata is a substance, and Raga is also a substance. Now the Raga, the paint, sticks onto the Gata. Because of that, will Gata change will Gata become a different thing? Will the Swarupa of Gata changes? No. The Swarupa is Mrit clay that remains as clay alone. Similarly, Atma also, because of association with mind, knowledge is born in Atma. Atma gets the status of being the knower, but Atma is not subject to change. Without undergoing any change, it gains the property of the guna, knowledge. So that property of knowing, that guna is born because of the contact between the Atma and the mind. Both are substances, and Atma doesn't undergo any change. Without undergoing any change, like Gata Raga Samavayi. Gata Raga Samavayi. So as the pot has connection, sambandha with the paint, because of the sambandha with the raga, the color, Gata doesn't undergo any change. It remains Gata, Tadvat. Drabya Matra Mahatma api Vikriyatmakaha eva. Therefore, with the Sanyoga, with the Mana Sanyogena, Atmani Bodhrutvam Jayate, Atma Avikriyatmakaha eva bhavati, Sada Vikriyatmakaha eva. So, therefore, Gataraga Samavayi Iva. Gataraga Samavayi Iva. Gataraga Samavayi Iva. Atmana Sanyogajaha Sanyogena Bodhaha Jayate. Atma continues to be Atma only. It will not change. So this is the view of the Kanada Mata. As there is intimate connection between the color and the Gata, as there is intimate connection between the Neela and the Utpala, blue lily, that is Samavaya Sambandha, intimate connection, inseparable connection, intimate connection, that is Samavaya. So here also Gata, when it is painted, there's a Samavaya Sambandha, intimate connection. Gata has intimate connection with the color. Similarly, Atma will remain connected to the mind. Because of that, Atma doesn't undergo any change, doesn't undergo any vikara. Therefore, it remains as avikriyaha eva, kintu dravyaha. This is the view of Kanada Mata, Vaisheshika. Then, if you say so, then Bhashakara points out. If you say dravya, simple argument. Dravya, if you say, that contradicts Shruti. Why? Contradicts Shruti. Therefore, it contradicts Shruti, therefore, your mata is not correct. So, therefore, by quoting from the Shruti, Acharya points out, and there are other defects also, he says. Bhashakara says that there are many defects. The main defect is Shruti is a pramanam, therefore, since you are also an Astika Darshana, though you give importance to Tarka more than Veda, but you are Astika, you also accept Veda. So your mata will contradict the Vakyas of the Shruti. How? Bhashakara quotes from Shruti. Asmin prakshe api
अस्मिन् पक्षे अपि
अचेतनं द्रव्यमात्रं ब्रह्म इति
अचेतनं
अचेतनं द्रव्यमात्रं ब्रह्म इति
विज्ञानन्दं ब्रह्म
ज्ञानम् आनन्दं ब्रह्म
विज्ञानमानन्दं ब्रह्म. What did you say? Vijnanamanda Brahma. Okay.
ज्ञानन्दं
Okay, Vijnanandam I said. Okay. Vijnanamanandam Brahma.
विज्ञानम् आनन्दं ब्रह्म
Vijnanam Brahma Giti.
विज्ञानं ब्रह्म इति
इत्याद्याः श्रुतयः
इत्याद्याः श्रुतयः
बाधिताः स्युः.
बाधिताः स्युः
Yes. Asmin Pakshepi, in this Paksha also, even if you claim that the defect of the Ekadesha is not there, but in your Paksha also, in this Paksha also, there are dosha. What? If you say Brahma is Achetanam Dravyamatram Brahma, that contradicts Shruti. Shruti says Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. Brahma is Vijnanam, it is Chaitanyam, consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma. How are you going to explain this sentence then? So if it, Brahma is Dravya, then Baditaha Syuhu Ityadhyaha Shrutayaha Baditaha Syuhu Baditaha Kat Shrutayaha Baditaha Bhavanti Baditaha Adhyaha Iti Adhyaha etc. Iti Adhyaha also Srilinga Bhagavachanam like Nadi Shabda Iti Ityadhyaha Iti etc. Adhyaha Shrutayaha Badita de Shrutis Baditaha Sigu remain contradictory. The statements of the Shruti remains contradictory. Since the Shruti Virodha defect, that is the defect. First defect is Shruti Virodha. Okay, this is one. But Vaisheshikas, they are more logical, they are more, they value more reasoning. Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they go together. So they are thinking people, they think very logically, they use the language of logic. Yukti. First we dismiss by giving Shruti. Bhashyakara dismissed by giving Shruti Vakya. Now Bhashyakara will give Yukti. By giving Yukti, the fallacy of the logic will be shown by Bhashyakara. Now before that, we need to understand what is the Yukti. For that, we need to know what is the view on Atma and Manaha. Atma and Manaha both are Dravya. So, Dravya has got size, Parimana, measurement, Parimana. Being substance, they are Parimana. Parimana is size. We have the sizes like Anu is small, then Vibhu is big. According to Kannada, what we have means according to Kannada, or according to Vaisheshika Mata, Kannada Mata, the Dravyam as Parimana. Small, big, there are and medium, there are Parimanas are there. There are sizes. Atma is of what size? Size of Atma. Atma is Vibhu Parimana. It is bigger, big size. Atma is big. What size and all it's not given. Big Atma is big. And Manaha, mind is Anu, small. Anuparimana, Anuparimanam Manaha. Now this Vibhu Parimanaha Atma, Anuparimanam Manaha, these both are Dravya, substance. Both now come to contact. Like a gutter and the paint come to contact. There becomes because of that Because of that, there is no change in the gata. Gata is gata. There is contact. There is samavaya sambandha. There is samavaya sambandha. The paint is now intimately connected with the gata. Similarly, this Vibhu Parimana Atma and Anuparimana Manas, they both come into contact, because of which a guna, a quality is born, that is jnanam, that is a quality, is born in Atma. Like what? Like a, a pot, when it is burnt, it becomes red color. Bhashakara gives an example. A pot, or you can take an iron ball. Iron ball or gata, when it is in contact with fire, there is sambandha. Then what happens? Iron ball becomes red hot, or the pot becomes red color. That is why pot is red. Mrit is not red. Pot is red. When it is contact with the fire, becomes red. So that is the color. A guna is born, the pot, in contact with the fire. Similarly, when there is Atmana Sanyoga, then Sanyoga the Jayate, a guna is born, that is Jnanam, is born in Atma. So Sanyoga is contact. Now, Atma is Vibhu Parimana. Manas is Anuparimana. Now, there is a dosha here. What dosha? Sanyoga means contact. Sanyoga, when it is possible, Sanyoga, the contact is possible between two things which have parts. Two things which have parts, they only can come into contact. If either one of them is partless, then contact is not possible. So Sanyoga is not possible if the things are Niravayava. Two things cannot be combined completely. Cannot combine. So therefore, both things must have parts. This is one defect. Therefore, Atma is Vibhu Parimana. When you say Atma is of bigger size, means it is partless. It is Niravayava. In the language, they say Vibhu Parimana. Now, the partless Atma come into contact with the manas, which has parts. Anuparimana manasa saha sanyogaha. That Anuparimana manas is having parts. But according to them, according to Vaisheshika, because mind is Anuparimana, that also doesn't have parts. Because Anuparimana doesn't have parts. Niravayava. Therefore, Atma and Manas both are Niravayava. Therefore, he says, see, if you say both only when they are Savayava, then only contact is possible. If you say, and therefore, contact is not possible between Atma and mind, if you say. See, contact is possible only between two things which are parts, and contact between Atma and mind is not possible because Atma is Niravayava. If you say, for that, Vaisheshika says, no. Mind is also Niravaya because mind is Anuparimana, doesn't have parts. Both are Niravayava. Therefore, contact is possible. Vaisheshika says contact is possible. No, that also is not possible, we say. Why? How can two things which are Niravayava, which doesn't have parts, can come into contact? It's not possible logically. Two partless things cannot have contact. That is not possible. That is dosha. All these are technical details. So to have contact, The substances must have parts. If Atma is Niravayava, then it cannot have contact with Atma. To avoid that, he said, mind is Anuparimana, that also doesn't have parts, it is also Niravayava. If both are Niravayava, then also contact is not possible because both are without parts. That is what we say. Then, for that, he says, that we will see. First, let us read the line up to here, what he said. Atmanaha Niravayavattvena
आत्मनः निरवत्वेन
Pradesha Abhavat
प्रदेश अभावात्
Nitya Sanyuktatvacha
नित्य संयुक्तत्वाच्च
Manasaha
मनसः
Smriti Utpatti Niyama Anupapattihi
स्मृति उत्पत्ति नियम अनुपपत्तिः
अनुपपत्तिः
Apariharya Syat.
अपरिहार्य स्यात्
स्यात्.
So I just gave the defense, but Bhashakara here, he says, Atmanaha Niravayavattvena. Niravayavattvena, because of the status of being partless, Atma being partless. Doesn't have Avayava. Therefore, will there be contact? Is contact possible with the other thing? With the other thing, that is mind. Pradesha Abhavat. Contact between Atma and mind is not possible. This is a first dosha. Atmanaha Niravayavatvena Pradesha Abhavat. Atma is Niravayava. Niravayava Atma cannot have contact with mind. Because Atma is Vibhu Parimana, biggest. It cannot have contact with the mind. This is dosha. The dosha is said, therefore it is over. But we say, supposing only, okay. Dosha is said, therefore their view is dismissed. Shruti Virodha is there, then Yukti Virodha also is said. Suppose, even if we accept, this is called Abhyupeta Vada. That's what Bhashakara, that Vada Bhashakara takes. All these doshas are known, but we take, suppose, even if we accept your view, then we give another reason. That's what Bhashakara says here. Atmanaha Niravayavatvena Pradesha Abhavat. Fine. Atma is, it has contact with all the dravyas because it is of the biggest size, Vibhu Parimanatvad. Therefore, Sarva Murta Sanyogitvam Vibhutvam Asti Atmanaha. It is connected to all dravyas. Here, in the Anandagiri, he has given Agni Sanyogat Gata Lohityavat Manas Sanyogat Asamavayi Karanat Atmani Chetane Chaitanyam Upadyate iti etat na kevalam Shruti Viruddham Asambhavitam cha itiyaha Atmanaha Niravayavatvena. That is, Atma being partless. Pradesh Abhavat, there being no area of contact. Therefore, contact between Atma and mind is not possible. This is the defect. Supposing that Atma is contact with the mind. Atma is Vibhu Parimana. Therefore, it is connected to all dravyas. Connected to all dravyas means the dravya, the substance must have a form. Therefore, Sarva Murta Sanyogitvam Asti Atmanaha. Atma has a status of being associated with all. Sarva Yoga Sanyogitvam Asti Atmanaha. Therefore, it is Atma has contact with all the dravyas. Sarva Murta Sarvamurta Sanyogitvam, Sarvamurta Kriyavatvam also. It is connected to all the Murta. That which is connected to all the Murta Dravya is this Atma, this Vibhuhu Atma. Mind is also a Murta. It is also, Murta means that which is Dravya, which has form. Atma is connected with all the Murta. Murta is that which has form, called Murta. So, Sarva Murta Sanyogitvam Asti Atmanaha. Therefore, Atma is connected to the mind, which is a Murta. Now, if it is so, already we have said it is Niravayava, contact is not possible. Supposing only we are discussing Abhyupetavada. Supposing, if you accept your view, then the mind and the Atma have contact. Now, Atma is Vibhu. Because it is Vibhu, it will have contact with all the Murta Dravyas. Mind also being a Dravya, a Murta, Atma will have contact. Therefore, Atmana Sanyoga will be there. Therefore, Jnanam is there. Fine. But this contact will be there all the time. Because Atma is Vibhu and it has contact with all the Murta. And mind is also a Murta. It's a Dravya, it's a Murta. It will have contact. And all the time Atma will be having contact with the mind. If that is so, then you cannot have sleep. Because all the time Atma is having contact with the mind. Then you cannot sleep. How sleep is possible? In the sleep, what happens? The mind is withdrawn. But here withdrawal is not possible. Because Atma is having contact with this Murta, Dravya, Manaha. So sleep is ruled out. This is one dosha, but the dosha though now pointed out, but we can note this one dosha is this dosha. Okay. Now, but instead of saying this, Bhashyakara gives more technical reason. And Tikakara Anandagiri explains that. See, how this jnana, there are two types of jnana. There are two types of jnanam. One jnanam is jnanam born because of the indriya. Jnanam born because of the indriya and the mind. Other one is jnanam born because of the samskara. See, the vishayas, the sense objects, are in contact with indriya, and indriya manas sanyoga, the contact is there. And mana is contact with Atma, therefore knowledge happens. That is all pratyaksha jnana. How do we perceive things? Indriyas are contact with indriya vishaya, and indriyas function, indriyas are operative and they're operative only in the presence of mind. And mind also is mind when it is in contact with the Atma. So therefore there is pratyaksha jnana. When you open your eyes and see, you see a vishaya, an object, the eyes see. The eyes alone cannot see. The eyes should be supported by the mind. Then mind also cannot see. Atma must be there. So therefore, Atma being there, backed up by the mind, the Indriyas perceive Indriya Vishaya. Right? Therefore, Indriya Sanyukta Manaha. Therefore, we have Indriya Sanyukta Manaha. And that mind, when it is in contact with Atma, knowledge is born, that Pratyaksha Jnanam is born. Indriya Sanyukta Manaha comes in contact with Atma, and there is Pratyaksha Jnanam. There is Jnanam of the Vishaya. That's called Pratyaksha. This is one thing. Knowledge born. Knowledge is born in the Atma. The knowledge of the Vishaya is born in the Atma due to Indriya Vishaya Sanyoga and Indriya Mana Sanyoga, and finally Atma Mana Sanyoga. The knowledge is born in the Atma. This is how the Pratyaksha is. Now, this is pratyaksha. Now, smriti is the smriti jnanam. Smriti is that samskara in the mind. Mind has samskara. Mind has past memories. That also sometimes invoked in the mind. One is pratyaksha jnana utpatti. Other one is smriti utpatti. How does smriti happens? Memory. Memory is for that mind is not for that sense organs are not required. Mind has the memories, the past memories, smriti. The mind come in contact with Atma. Then memories are invoked. You have smriti jnanam. So therefore, two types of jnanam you can take. One is pratyaksha jnanam. Other one is smriti jnanam. Pratyaksha jnanam by indriya vishaya sanyoga, followed by indriya mana sanyoga, followed by atma mana sanyoga. Then indriya jnanam, pratyaksha jnanam. Pratyaksha jnana utpatti. Other one is smriti jnana utpatti. That is purely because of the contact of the mind and the atma. Now, if atma is vibhu, having contact with all the murta, including the mind, then it is going to have contact all the time. It's going to have contact all the time, even when there is no pratyaksha jnanam, but smriti will be there because memories are there in the mind. All the time memories will be there. Therefore, all the time memories are there, then you cannot sleep. You cannot get relief from your memories. That is dosha, one is dosha. Now, according to Vaisheshika, what they say, their view, according to them, they say pratyaksha and this pratyaksha jnana utpatti and smriti utpatti are not possible at the same time. That is their view. Pratyaksha jnana utpatti and smriti utpatti, they are not possible at the same time. Therefore, the smriti happens at the time other than the pratyaksha jnana utpatti. Now, since Atma is going to have contact with the mind all the time, because Atma is Vibhu Parimana and having contact with all the Dravya Murta all the time. So when there is Pratyaksha Jnanam, there will be simultaneously Smriti Jnanam also. So they are caught in the defects, own defects. They are caught in their argument. They say Smriti Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti and Smriti Utpatti are not possible at the same time, but it will be there at the same time because mind has samskaras. Therefore, Smriti also will happen simultaneously when Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti happens. You cannot avoid that. So, therefore, that contradicts your very view. This is more technical. This is what Bhashyakara says here. Now, here Atmanaha, that the dosha I given, Tikakara says here, Atmanaha nishpradeshatvat manasa sanyogaha na sambhavati iti uktam. Tad ayuktam. युगपत् सर्वमूर्त्य संयोगित्वं सर्वगतत्वं आत्मनः ततः मनसः संयोगे अपि इति चेत् तत्रः. We will read that Bhashya and then come here. This is what I said. The Bhashyakara just uses the word Atmanah and Niravayavattvena. Then after I explain, you see the Tika. Based on Tika only I am explaining. Atmanaha Niravayavattvena, because Atma doesn't have any avayava. So therefore, Pradesha Bhavat, there is contact. Pradesha, the place is not a Pradesha Bhavat. Absence of Pradesha, the place of contact. Pradesha Bhavat. Because Atma is Niravayava. So therefore, because it is Niravayava, there is no area of contact, place of contact. Fine. Even though it is that by place of contact is area of contact, place of contact is not possible. Still, suppose if we accept your view, Abhyupetavada, Nitya Sanyuktatvacha Manasaha, always it will be in contact. Supposing this is, see, already we said Pradesh Abhavat Atma Niravayavatena, contact is not possible. Suppose Nitya Sanyuktatvacha, suppose if it has contact, then the contact will be all the time. Mind is ever connected with Atma. First is contact is not possible. Atma Niravayavatena Pradesh Abhavat. See, Atma is Niravayava, mind is Savayava. Savayava mind cannot have contact with Niravayava. If you remember, I said they say Anuparimana, therefore mind is also Niravayava. Then also contact is not possible. Fine. Supposing contact is possible, then Atma will have contact with the mind all the time. Nitya Sanyuktatva. Mind is ever connected to Atma all the time. Then what will happen? Smriti Utpatti Niyama Anupapatti Anupapattihi Apariharya Syat. There will be Smriti Utpatti, Smriti memory. Utpatti rise of memory, recollection of memory. That niyama anupapatti is untenability. Untenability of the niyama, the rule with regard to the rise of memory would be apariharya, would be inevitable. This is a dosha. Smriti utpatti niyama anupapattihi apariharya syat. There would be untenability of the niyama with regard to the utpatti, the rise of the memory. It means because Atma has got contact with the mind all the time, therefore all the time samskaras, the smriti which is stored in the mind will be all the time will be there. The memories of all the time will be there. Memories, it's not occurs deliberately. It doesn't occur when you want to invoke your memory, you can't invoke. All the time it will be invoked. All the memories will be invoked. Because mind is nothing but it has got all the past memories, collection. So not only in time, or not only when there is pratyaksha jnana utpatti, all of the time also the smriti will be there. Smriti will be arising. Because mind has contact with Atma all the time. Therefore there will be smriti utpatti. Even at the time of pratyaksha jnana utpatti, the smriti utpatti will be there. Both, but they don't agree that. That is why they say this is a dosha. This is the dosha. So your view itself is defeated. Smriti utpatti, niyama anupatti, parihar. This is unavoidable, untenability of the rule with regard to the utpatti of the smriti. Even at the time of pratyaksha jnana utpatti. According to them, pratyaksha jnana utpatti, smriti utpatti, they do not happen at the same time. But if Atma and the mind is going to have contact all the time, and all the time smriti utpatti will be there, even at the time of pratyaksha jnana utpatti. Therefore, that is a dosha. This is more technical dosha, Bhashyakara points out. One is Shruti, other one is Yukti. Yukti itself, Bhashyakara says, Atmanaha Niravayavatena Pradesha Abhavat, there is no possibility of contact because there is no area of contact between Atma and the mind. If Atma is Niravayava, then even if our mind is Savayava or even Niravaya, then also contact is not possible. Assuming contact is possible, then we have this dosha, Smriti Utpatti, and will be the dosha. Smriti Utpatti, all the time Smriti Utpatti will be there. There will be memory of the samskaras all the time. Even at the time of Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti, even when you operate your Indriyas, that also Smriti will be there. So that dosha is unavoidable. This is more technical reason. So this is, how do we know this? Tikakara says very clearly. Agni Sanyogat Gata Lohityavat. Contact of the Agni with the Gata. The Gata, because of the Gata becomes red, Lohityavat. Similarly, Manas Sanyogat Asamavayi Karanat. This Samavayi is intimate relationship. but there is no intimate relationship because it only comes into contact. Atmani Chetane Chaitanya Mutpadyate iti. If you say that Atman in the Atma, Chaitanyam consciousness arises, that is not Kevalam Shruti Viruddham, that is also not possible. Atmanaha Niravayavatvena, that is what Vashikara said, because Atma doesn't have Avayava. Therefore, it cannot have contact with mind. Therefore, therefore, since contact is not possible. Therefore, Jnanam, the Vishesha, the Guna, rising in Atma is also not possible. That is one thing. Then Atmanaha Nishpradeshatvat, Manasaha Sanyoga na Sambhavati, iti Uktam Tat Ayuktam. Atmanaha Nishpradeshatvat. There is no Pradesha, there is no area of contact. Atmanaha Manasa Sanyoga, therefore Sambhavati, therefore contact between the Atma and the mind is not possible. Iti Uktam Tad Ayuktam, it is what is said, that is Ayuktam, that is not proper. Why? Yugapat Sarvamurti Sanyogitvam Sarvagatatvam Atmanaha Tataha Manasaha Sanyoge iti chet. Atma can have contact with all the Murta Dravya. Therefore, Atma has the status of having connection with all the Murta, all the Dravyas. So Sarvamurta Sanyogitvam Sarvagatatvam Atmanaha, therefore Manasaha Sanyoge. Therefore, it can have contact with the mind. If you say that also is Tatraha Nitya iti. That is all. There also dosha is. What is dosha? Grahana kalat anya kale eva smritinam kramena eva utpatti niyamaha vaisheshikasya. The Vaisheshika Matas niyama, their view, the rule is Grahana kalat anya kale eva. Other than the time of perception. That is pratyakshadi. Smritinam kramena eva utpatti. Other than the time of perception, only the smriti, etc. will smritinam kramena smriti will arise. Not samakali. Grahana kalat anyakale. Anubhava kalat anyakale. Not at the time of perception of Vishaya. Other time, when there is no Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti, then only Smriti Utpatti will be there. That is the Niyama of the Vaisheshika. Niyamaha Vaisheshikasya. Na Utpadyate Grahana Kalayapi Smriti Utpatti Prasangacha Samskaravat Atmana Sanyogasya Visheshadityartaha. But Grahana Kalayapi Smriti Utpatti Prasangat, because Atma is having contact with the mind all the time, therefore, Grahana-kale smriti utpattihi bhavati eva prasangat. Therefore, why? Because of samskaravat, because of the samskara, because mind has got samskara, samskaravat manaha. Therefore, atmamana sanyogasya, that you cannot avoid it. Therefore, even at the time of pratyaksha jnana utpatti, there will be smriti utpatti. That is a dosha. That is a dosha. According to them, both the Jnana Utpatti, that is Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti and Smriti Utpatti, do not happen at the same time, do not occur simultaneously. But if you say Atma is having contact with the mind, then the mind is Samskaravat Manaha, there will be the Smriti Utpatti all the time, even at the time of Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti, that is against your view. It is the technical dosha is pointed out by the Vashikara. Vashikara doesn't deal with all these things in detail, he will not say. That's why Tikakara, Anandagiri, he says, this point is, you can note. This is more technical. Is it required just to know it, that's it. Vaisheshika, how they say and how Bhashikara refutes that. So modern days, we don't have all such Purvapakshi. But those days were there, therefore, dealing with the Purvapakshi, how Bhashikara, defeats them. Just by saying Shruti, he can defeat a simple tarka, simple yukti. But defeating them in their own ground. They have certain views that, and they accept that is based on yukti, that itself Bhashikara dismisses. So very, defeating them by assuming in spite of the defects, assuming the defects are not that defeating. That's called Abhyupetavada. So dismissing them by Abhyupetavada. Therefore, Smriti Utpatti Niyama Anupapattihi Apariharyasa. Apariharyasya. There would be inavailability, unavoidability, inavailability of the untenability of the rule with regard to the Smriti Utpatti. So that is touching them to the core. That is the view. So therefore they are dismissed. Further Bhashyakara says that we will see the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Dhanyavadah.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣ್ಜಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.